Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is such a weird time, okay? I'm gonna be really real with you guys. Like, it's very scary. It's really scary. I'm super anxious. I'm sure a lot of you guys feel the same as well, and I just don't really know what to do with myself. Reading the news all day definitely doesn't help, and just trying to kind of stay in a positive headspace has been difficult. Because of that, I haven't really been paying much attention to like the way that I look. I haven't been putting makeup on. I haven't been really getting dressed. I've been wearing kind of like the same thing every day for the last 15 days. And so I decided that today I would actually put some effort into my appearance and I would do a look that was the opposite of how I've been feeling, which is a potato. So there's kind of a new trend going around. I feel like it started not too long ago. That's called the FOXY eye or the fox eye, something like that. And it pretty much originated with like the Bella Hadid and Kendall Jenner look. You know, the look where their face literally looks like it's being pulled back like this. It's a very like lifted eye look that just looks very sexy. It looks really like feline-esque. So this pullback look is obviously achieved by something like a brow lift. There is definitely surgery or Botox or something involved to get that really lifted look because it's not natural. It just isn't. But I have learned a couple techniques with makeup that really help to achieve that look, and part of that technique requires for half of your eyebrows to be gone. I've already done the deed. So I actually already filmed this entire look earlier today. So when I filmed it, I already had shaved off my eyebrow. So spoiler alert, half my eyebrow is gone. Love that for me. Hello, just jumping in here because I want to show you guys what my brows look like before shaving them. If you are stumbling upon this video and haven't seen my brows before, this is what they typically look like. You can see they have a much more pronounced arch. And so when I did shave off my brow, I pretty much took off from here to here. And then this is actually a picture that I took when I first did this makeup look, and you can see the brow is much straighter. So here you could really see a good before and after. I'm actually refilming it because I just really didn't like the lighting in the video, and I loved how the look turned out so much that I felt like it deserved better lighting, so I brought it into my studio. So because I did wear this look the entire day, I can confirm that it did indeed actually boost my mood, which is kind of crazy, although I'm not surprised. I've said this time and time again, makeup has such an incredible power to enhance not just your outer appearance, but it 100% affects the way you feel. So I hope that this video inspires you to do something a little bit fun for yourself during this weird time. I think we all kind of need a little bit of that. So back to the look, I'm gonna be showing you guys how to get this foxy fox eye look. I'm gonna be showing you all the techniques that I kind of picked up from watching a lot of tutorials and just my own experimenting. And of course, I'll talk about the eyebrows. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's first talk eyebrows, and I know it does sound crazy to shave off half of your eyebrow. This is something that never in a million years I thought I would do because I learned my lesson when I was 12, 13, 14, 15 when I had no eyebrows on my face and it did not look cute. So I'm gonna pop up a picture of Bella right over here so you can see what her face looks like. So if you look at Bella's eyes, you can see that they swoop pretty heavily like towards her temples. Like if I pull my eye back, if I had like tapes here, pulling my eye, that's the effect that her eyes have. And if you look at her brow is fairly straight and it kind of follows the same direction that her eyes are going. And I think what I've noticed the most with this kind of brow style is you don't want the tail end of your brow to go lower than the front of your brow. I think that's kind of like the golden rule. At least in my head it is. I don't know if that's actually a thing. So like I said earlier today, I already removed quite a bit of my brow, although I didn't go as crazy as maybe I could go. Like I could honestly probably benefit with removing this much more of my brow, but to be honest with you guys, like I don't wear makeup pretty often and I don't want to look crazy when I don't have makeup on. So I kind of went on the safer side. I didn't want to go too crazy and get rid of too much of my brow. So I would suggest that if you are wanting to try out this brow look, to number one, try it out first with a concealer. So take some high coverage concealer and cover up the brow hairs that you think you want to get rid of. And if you like the way it looks, do it, why not? Brow hairs do generally grow back, but if you don't like the way it looks, then just don't do it. So with a look like this, I am gonna fill in my brows first, just so that they're done and out of the way. And that way, when I do my eyeshadow, my brows are already kind of there, so I know where to put the eyeshadow, because it makes a big difference. So I'm just gonna take my Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in 3.5, and I'm just going to start by creating kind of like a straight line underneath the brow. Now I am going to extend this shape just a little bit, just like that. And then where my arch is, I'm just gonna connect that. So there is still an arch to the brow. It's just very, very soft and not quite as angular as it normally is. So my brow normally ends like here, and now it's right above that. And I also would like to say that I went on Instagram stories with the makeup look that I'm about to show you guys. And I got so many messages of people being like, oh my God, are you wearing tapes like to pull your eye back? So I mean, hello, it frickin' works. Okay, once you have everything down and you like the way it looks, you wanna lock it all in with the brow gel. Okay, this is pretty much the only time that I will ever really carve out my brows. I never, ever put concealer around my brows. It's just not like a technique that I ever use, but something like this, because the shape is so particular, I do wanna make sure that, you know, they just look neat. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of my Hourglass concealer. If you're wondering, by the way, I use the shade Cedar. And I'm just gonna take a flat brush and just kind of clean up underneath the arch, or at the bottom of my brow. So just make them pop. So now I'm going to move on to my skin. Now I am gonna recreate the look that Bella is wearing in this particular picture just because it's super, super pretty. So I'm first going to prime and moisturize my skin with my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. Put this everywhere. And by the way, I would like to say that because I already did this look earlier today, I wore it the entire day and it lasted and wore beautifully. For my foundation, I'm gonna be using my Shiseido Synchro Skin Self Refreshing. When I have been wearing foundation, this has been the only foundation that I've been putting on my face. And just put a pretty thin layer around my face. I just wanna knock out the redness. Okay, for right underneath my eyes, I'm gonna be taking my Pat McGrath concealer in LM10. I really, really like this. It's a very full coverage concealer. It lasted, like I said, so well throughout the day. And it just looks really nice and just flawless underneath the eyes, so A++ for this. Oh, by the way, the shade that I use in the Shiseido foundation, I get asked all the time, I'm so sorry, I always forget to say, it's 240 Quartz. Okay, so now to bronze, I'm gonna take my Huda Beauty Tantour in Fair. It's a cream bronzer, so I'm gonna take this dense brush over here. This is from Quo, it's the flat buffer. And I'm pretty much just gonna kind of stamp it on my face. Bella has the most sculpted cheekbones I've ever seen on a human. So I'm not being shy with this bronzer slash contour because I want my cheekbones to look sculpted. I'm not trying to look like Bella here because I obviously do not even look like her even a little bit. I have no similar features. I'm just trying to take her vibe and like style and apply it to me. Next tip is very, very important. You're gonna wanna take a small little flat brush and we're going to contour the eye. This is actually a tip that I have spoken about before, and it does make such a big difference in lifting the eye, but combining this tip specifically with the eyebrow situation, it just brings it to a whole nother level. I'm literally going to drag this contour from the corner of my eye up towards the temple, kind of like almost hitting that tail end of the brow. So I'm gonna do one side at a time so you guys could really see the difference. But like I said, you're literally going on your eyelid from the outer corner of your eye, dragging up towards the tail end of your brow, towards your temple. Then you're just gonna wanna very lightly blend that so it doesn't look like a super harsh brown line on your eye. But you still want it to be very crisp, especially on that outer edge. And look at that difference from this side to this side. It's a very, very, very subtle change, but it makes a huge difference in just creating that illusion. So now I'm gonna take a little bit of powder. This is my Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder, and I'm gonna bake very slightly with this. I don't really normally bake, but because the concealer that I used wasn't super bright, I do wanna kind of brighten it up underneath the eyes, and I also wanna bake underneath this line over here and also underneath my cheekbones to really make everything kind of pop and stand out. So I'm just taking this flat, fluffy brush and I'm just packing some powder on here. And I'm kind of just gonna put a little bit of the powder right underneath that contour line. And like I said, I kind of want to brighten up underneath the eyes, so I'm just putting some of that powder right underneath, and also following that line that we created with the contour. I'm really not gonna let this sit for long at all. I'm just gonna take now a fluffy brush and just kind of sweep it away. This look needs to be really soft. I don't want there to be any like harsh contours and highlights. I want everything to be melded together. This is just meant to very lightly brighten things up. For the blush, she's wearing kind of like a pinky peachy blush that has a nice glow, so I thought this one from MAC was perfect. It's the Glow Play Blush in Grand. It's such a pretty color. So I'm going to just take that on just this random fluffy brush. And I'm only applying this kind of on my cheekbone area. I'm not really putting it on the apples of my cheeks because, like I said, Bella's cheekbones are so sculpted and so like, keep it on the cheekbones because putting it on the apples will make your cheeks look a little bit more rounded. So for my highlighter, I'm taking my Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow palette. I just want something really soft. It doesn't really look like she's wearing a crazy highlighter here. I am going to, however, take some of the highlighter on just a small, precise brush and highlight my brow bone with this to accentuate my new shape. Cute. So now it's time to move on to the eyes, and the eye look is really, really simple. So I'm just going to take my Mouth 27 palette, and I'm first going to grab Nip Slip, which is a funny name. It's this guy right over here. It's kind of like a soft coral. And on a really fluffy brush, I'm just going to sweep this right above the crease of my eye. Like I'm barely even touching my lid because I really don't want to get too much pigment here. It doesn't really look like she's wearing a lot of color on her eye, but you do still see that nice coral undertone. And you really just want to concentrate this only on the outer corner. You don't really want to bring it too far in. And because now I have so much more space between my eyelid and my eyebrow, I'm able to bring it a little bit higher, which will again just solidify all this effect that we're going for. And remember not to surpass that line that we created with the contour. Now I'm going to go in with a smaller, more precise brush, and I'm going to go into the shade One More Thing, which is actually kind of the most perfect like contour type shade. And I'm going to just define my outer crease a little bit more with this. She really doesn't look like she's wearing much eyeshadow, but there is still definition there. So this is kind of that perfect color to give that definition without giving really anything else. Doing a diagonal from the outer corner to my lash line to create kind of like a V shape. And again, that's really gonna help pull out the eye. So now I'm gonna take a face powder. This is just my NARS Desert Soft Velvet Pressed Powder. You could take any powder that you want as long as it does have a little bit of a tint to it. And I'm actually gonna use this to blend the eyeshadow because her eyeshadow is so soft and it's so softly blended. There's like no harsh lines whatsoever. So this tip is so perfect if you do want to just make sure everything melts together. So I'm putting that above the crease where the color meets my skin, and I'm also putting it on the rest of my lid to kind of just set that and to make sure that that like contour shade that we put down and even the more coral shade blends into something. So it just softens everything. So it does look like she has kind of like a liner situation going on her upper lash line, but it's very, very soft. So it looks like it's probably like a pencil that's smudged out or like a powder. I don't really know. I'm gonna use a powder because I know that I can get something really soft with that. So I'm gonna mix the shade Moonchild and Whiskey Neat, which are these two colors at the end. And I'm taking that little mixture on an angle brush. This is a 317 from Zoeva. And I'm just gonna start to build a wing with this. Because it's shadow, you really don't have to worry about messing up because you can really easily just kind of blend it away if you do. Then I'm gonna take a pencil brush and I'm gonna blend along the wing that I just made to smoke it out. I just kind of want that darkness to be in this wing shape so that it does lift the eye, but it still looks really, really nice and soft. Okay, so now for the inner corner of her eye, it's very bright and very highlighted, so I'm actually gonna layer two products there. I'm gonna go in first with my favorite inner corner highlighter. This is my By Terry Blonde Opal Cream. Very, very reflective and pretty. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of that on my inner corner first. Once it's applied, I'm just gonna take a clean brush and just blend the edges so that it doesn't look like a blob. kind of blending it onto the lid just a little bit and even a little bit on like this area right here. Okay, then I'm gonna go into my powder highlighter from my Charlotte Tilbury palette and just pat over that to set it. Okay, so now moving on to mascara and lashes, obviously another really important step. I would definitely highly suggest putting on corner lashes because corner lashes are really going to help lift the eye. What I did is I took a normal pair of lashes that kind of flared out on the outer corner. So I used the Kiss lash in Little Black Dress and I cut them in half, and I'm going to place it on the outer corner of my eye, and I'm actually going to place the outer corner of the lash not directly onto my lash line, but a little bit above. This is a trick that I learned while watching drag tutorials. So I put the glue on the band and I'm just letting it dry for a couple seconds before I go in so it gets tacky. And then I'm gonna place the lash onto my lash line, and I'm kind of gonna squeeze the front of the lash to my lash line because I do want it to be close there. And I'm gonna let that sit for like, I don't know, 15 seconds. And then once it gets really, really tacky, I'm gonna take that outer corner and just place it slightly above my actual lash line. So the lash kind of sits almost straight instead of following the curve of my lash line. You may be able to see that there's kind of like a space between where my lash line is and where the lash is. That's kind of what you want. So then you just wanna let your lashes dry completely before you put on your mascara. So in the meantime, while I do let them dry, I'm gonna do my lips. So in the photo, Bella is wearing kind of like a cool toned, very natural looking pink lip. It almost doesn't even look like she's wearing lipstick. She obviously is, but it's very like almost rubbed off. So I'm going to line my lips, put it on lipstick, but then blot it off. So I'm gonna go in first with MAC Whirl. I'm also going to really accentuate my Cupid's bow because her Cupid's bow is very defined. So I'm kind of going above my own to create that like M shape. Now I'm gonna go into this MAC lipstick in Babetown. It's kind of like that perfect cool toned pink. All right, final step, put on some mascara. That is the finishing touch for this look. We are all done. My lashes look a little bit wonky. For some reason I couldn't get them on as well as I did earlier today, but that's totally okay. When I first shaved off my eyebrow, I fully regretted it. I almost had a bit of a panic attack, honestly, but I'm kind of happy that I did. I also really want to emphasize that you do not need to shave off the outer half of your eyebrow to get this look. You can definitely get a more lifted look by just doing that contour technique on the eye and also trying this like eyeshadow technique as well in combination with that contour technique. You should get a really pretty feline-esque type of look. All right guys, that is it for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it and that I gave you a couple moments of just distraction and entertainment. And I hope that some of you guys end up trying out this look. And if you do, I would love to see photos on Instagram or on Twitter. Send them to me, tag me. I always like to repost them and just share them with everybody else because I'm always very proud. By the way, if you want more entertainment from me, I'm going to start doing more Instagram lives. I know everybody and their grandmother is jumping on the Instagram live train, but it's just a really fun and easy way to get to kind of interact with you guys outside of YouTube. And I've been doing these like calming get ready with me's, and in these lives I pretty much talk very minimally and I just do my makeup and get ready with you guys, and then I have some really nice music playing in the background. You can follow me on Instagram at Jamie Paige Beauty if you want to be alerted when those go live. Okay, I love you guys so much and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.